Hey y'all, and welcome to my mid-year check-in. It is the end of July right now, and I think this will be coming out the first weekend of August, so we are a little bit past the midway point, but better late than never. I thought because I do a lot of monthly check-ins, I review a lot of books on Fable, that I didn't really want to talk too much about all of the books I've read so far this year. I have finished so many. I am really, really excited about the progress I've made so far this year. Also with the TBR takedowns, I've had a lot of success. The starting number in January, I believe, was 369. I'm down under 300 now, which is really big. There's been a lot of books that have come in and a lot of books that have gone out, but overall, I think it's been really successful. So what I kind of wanted to talk about actually is how my reading tracker has been going. And spoiler alert, it's not been great, especially as the year has gotten busier around maybe late March, early April. I feel like things really started to fall off for me and it became an overwhelming task to keep up with this. So what I'm going to do today is try and update it as best I can. I have the journal. I have this little box where I keep all of the pictures that I print out for book covers. So I'll just show you an example. I use a Canon Ivy printer and then I just make like little pictures of the books that I'm planning to read soon. So if I know that there's a few I'm going to read, or I think I did it most recently with my spring TBR. That did not work out because I didn't finish all those books, but I try to have them ready. So what I'm going to do is take anything that's in here that I've actually read in that time since I last put pictures in here. I'm just going to use those books, throw them in. I'm probably not going to review them today, but I'm going to update as many fields as I can and kind of see how I feel about the reading tracker at this point in the year. Like I said, I've not kept up with it very well, and I don't think that's the reading tracker's fault. I think that's just life getting busy and then the high volume of books that I read. It wasn't as easy as tracking in Fable or something like that, which brings me to another idea for a video, like what's better, a paper tracker or a digital tracker. So maybe look for that video coming out soon because I have a lot of thoughts now. But let's see what we can update in this, and then I will meet you back here for my thoughts. First, I'm going to be gathering my supplies, which will obviously be the reading tracker itself, all of my mild liners and highlighters, a good writing pen, my little tin filled with book cover stickers, and my iPad for the Fable app. I decided to start with the bookshelf spread. This is undeniably my favorite. I really like coloring in the books and then writing in the titles, but I was trying to figure out where I left off. I had put in the Silent Companions, but skipped a row, and somehow my last review was Red Seas Under Red Skies. I was just very confused about what I had done previously, and then Startup Hell, that's from May. It is July. Jumping back into this is really not my finest moment, but here we are, we're gonna make it better. I decided the best way to go from here was to dive into the stickers, see which ones I had so I could determine which books I was gonna include anyway, do this part in the back, just get them stuck in, and then move back to the bookshelf and fill it out from there. In the back, I have this little key, so I'm just flipping that out so I can go through the books and then color in by genre. As I mentioned earlier, I kind of skipped that top row, and I think here I'm trying to figure out what I was thinking. I'm just going to continue on from the Silent Companions and then maybe come back and use those books later when I need them. I really wish I knew what I was thinking. Once I finished with the bookshelf, I did skip through several more sections, again, trying to determine what I would be interested in tracking going forward. And the reading tracker does appeal to me. I like that it's numbered. You can see a green line there where I decided I'm starting fresh from here. Again, I think a few weeks ago I had gone in here with some sort of idea, but that was a different version of Meg, and I don't remember what she was thinking, honestly. So I'm just filling in this, kind of what I did in the back, the same thing. And then moving into the series tracker. I have completed several series, so anything you see highlighted across the series name, those are finished series. There will be no more books, and I've read all of the books in them. But I noticed I had not done star ratings or like the little pepper or spice rating for these romance series, so I'm just going in and backfilling that. After wrapping up the series tracker portion, I skipped past several sections, including like the book mail, book club, I think author backlist, and trope tracker, and moved into the year in pixels. The way I've been tracking the year in pixels is just on the one side, and it's by genre. So I'm using the Fable app and then the calendar feature to see what books I was reading on what days, so I can get the exact color for the genre. After the pixels were all filled out for July, I skipped the genre tracker and annual tracker and moved into the challenges. I had a lot more to fill out in the rainbow and the A to Z challenge than I thought I would, once again using Fable to help me out. I'm really just not sure what to do with this 12-book challenge at the top. There are some suggestions, but I don't really like any of them, so I'm not sure where to go from here. The Cozy Bookish Bingo was pretty easy, not too much of a challenge, and when I fill those out, I do like to add the book that I had in mind for that specific challenge. Now, the moon, I was worried about the moons, but the moons turned out really, really great. I did flip back and forth to see if I could find books that fit in the certain categories, and then again, just use Fable. It's very easy to search by month, and those were easy to find. I'm so thrilled that there were so many of these that I could fill out, and it does feel really good, almost like an accomplishment, to check those off. I really don't see myself using the monthly recaps going forward. A lot of this information is just the same, repeated, wash, rinse, repeat. You put it here, you put it there, you put it everywhere. And I don't see a lot of value in that. So I think I'll stick with the book reviews and a few other categories that I've been enjoying and kind of leave it there. Okay, so that was a lot. There was a lot to update. I clearly had an idea about what I was going to update before I did this video anyway. So like some of the stickers were not matching up with some of the things, and I probably will do some voiceover for that, speed it up, do voiceover and things like that. So I'm not sure how much of this will be a duplication, but let me just tell you how I'm feeling right now in the aftermath. One, the rings make this very difficult to write in, especially in the review portion. Here at the back, I'm gonna try and pull up my most recent. So when you get into these margins here, the rings make it I'm right-handed, so like the rings make it extremely difficult to get over there. Also, something that makes it a little hard to write, and again, this is of my own doing, is the pictures. So when they are not staggered, they're in the same location on every page. You have these, you can kind of see, maybe this way you can see a little bit better. So these are where the pictures kind of fall, and you get this big indent. So it makes it a little hard to write for that purpose as well. Now, something you can do, and what I was doing, is just make the page separate and put this on a flat surface and write that way. The rings still do get in the way, and it's a little bit annoying. Another thing is there are so many categories to fill out throughout here, and I do think that in the beginning that was a big draw for me, but in actual practice, it's kind of a lot to go through, especially if you're thinking about you have to go through this probably once a week to be able to stay on top of things. That's what I think I would need to do, and that's what I'm gonna do going forward. Like I need to finish using this for the year. I want to give it a real try with a schedule, but I think at least once a week I'll have to update it. And then there's so many fields that need to be updated or that need attention. So I do find that to be a little overwhelming. Additionally, in that same vein, there's a lot of duplication of information. So there's a lot of places where you're putting the same thing over and over again. For example, I believe with the reading tracker in the front, where you're putting book, author, rating, you have that same situation in the monthly, and then you're also filling it out in the book review section. And that is the fields that you're filling out the same are the title, the author, and the rating, the star rating. So that just feels like quite a lot to do over and over and over again. Then again, in the monthly guide, you have your reading recap, which is going to be books read, pages read, that sort of stuff, how many 5-star, 1-star, whatever reads, and then the days that you read. But you also have that in another section here in the yearly reading stats. You have it by month, and then you have the same thing, number of books, number of pages, hours, how many of each of the star ratings, how many did you DNF, and then what formats. And so that just feels, again, like a big duplication. Now, not to be total cons, the things I like about this are obviously the tracking aspect. I do really like the review fields, but I kind of wish that they were numbered so that you didn't also have to have it referenced in the reading tracker section. It would be nice if the actual book reviews had a numbered system as well. I also like the challenges, and while I haven't done any of the retellings yet, I have some coming up, and I'm a little lost here. I think I asked, like, what should I do with this? If anybody has any ideas, I would appreciate it. There is more of a close-up in the flat lay. And I do like the series tracker. I'm not very good at keeping up with it, but I do like that. My absolute favorite of all favorites is probably the bookshelf section. And then in the same vein as the bookshelf section is the year in pixels, because I have been using it as a genre tracker. So I have different colors for the different genres. And then in the back, again, probably already saw this. In the back, I have my legend for genres. I feel like I was missing a genre for something, and now I can't think of what it was. So we'll come back to that. But I do like the year in pixels, tracking it that way. It turns out to be like a really colorful situation. I might go backfill these if I am bored or need something to do, which I don't see being very likely. I do also find the book club section interesting, if just for archive purposes, just to look back and see what we read and when we met up and things like that. I also have the book club app, so that keeps track of those meetings as well. But all in all, I am happy with this tracker. I would like to finish out the year with it, and I'm kind of thinking that next year I might just make my own, go back to, I'd previously done my reading tracker and reviews in a Stalogy notebook, and very similar format, just the picture, the title information, those sorts of things. It's kind of just, let me find a blank one. It's kind of just this, just like the book, the title, the author, the star rating, how I read it, audio, physical, Kindle, and then what I thought about the book. It was very simple. Oh, and the dates read. I added that as well. But I think I might, in the front of it, incorporate some of these challenges that I like best. I like the little bingo one. And I especially like the full moon reading tracker, which when I went back to fill in, I was shocked to see that I had actually been able to keep up with them. July, I'm actually reading my 500 plus page book now. So I will finish that before the end of the month. So that was cool. I kind of had written that off as, whoops, I didn't keep up with that. And then as I was going through, I found all of them, and that was amazing. So that's something to feel good about. Overall, I do think it's worthwhile if you're somebody that's going to keep up with it meticulously, like I have not. It's such a good purchase. And even if you're not, if you're fine with going in and backfilling, it's still an amazing, amazing tool. Now, since that wasn't my finest moment showing you how much I've neglected that tracker, I thought I would show you my standouts from each month of the year. It was really hard to cull down, and there's one month where I have a whole series and one month where I have 2 books. So let's jump in with my first one, which was The Lies of Locke Lamora in January. This was a total standout for me. I absolutely loved it. I don't think I'd ever read fantasy quite like this, and it really opened up something new for me and shifted my thinking around fantasy as a genre. And I think made me realize I really do love fantasy. It's romantasy that I was having a hard time with, and fantasy really is my home. So like I mentioned, I have a whole series, and for February, that was the Paladin series. I ate this up. I absolutely loved it. The first book is Paladin's Grace. And these were just so amazing for me. These opened up a new world of T. Kingfisher for me because I had read Swordheart, yes, but didn't realize the vast nature of the world of the White Rat. And so this really took me into a new world, and I have since read the Clock Tower duology and Daggerbound, so I'm even more firmly seated in this world, and I just cannot wait for more of these books to come. March was a romance. I did get an early copy of this book, and I do remember finishing it, or at least starting it, at the Dragon Racers camp when we were there in March, and the weather was all cool and starting to feel like spring, and this book was just the perfect thing to read at that time, outside, in nature, relaxed, and I enjoyed it so much. It is a contemporary romance by Gillian Meadows and book 2 in a series. You can read them out of order, you can read them however you want. This was just an amazing read for me. Switching things up quite a bit, again, actually is A Place Between. This is Lightfall book 4, and this was my standout for April. I absolutely loved it, and I was devastated at the end of it, like I haven't been with the others. Maybe I was, maybe I'm misremembering, but I did just absolutely fall back in love with this world and these characters, the gods, Bee and Cad, and just everything on new characters that we got to meet. It was beautiful. It was very well done. It was a much darker look at the world, and I'm just really intrigued to see where this series goes. I can't wait for the next one. I know they take an absolute age to produce, and this one just came out this year, but it was so much fun. I cannot wait for more. May is a bit of a double feature, and they are both A books. I have Anne of Green Gables and Aftertaste. Both of these were absolutely shockingly good to me. I did not expect them to leave the mark that they did on me, but both of them were absolute standout sensations. I loved them. I think about both of them often, and I can't believe I read both of them in May, and that we have Aftertaste and Anne of Green Gables. They cannot be more different reads, but I enjoyed both of them so, so much. In June, my standout was the first finish of the month, and that was Tress of the Emerald Sea. This was my first Brandon Sanderson, and boy, was I pulled in. This was just beautiful to me. I loved it. It brings me so much joy just thinking about it, and I think when I finished it, I immediately wanted to reread it again with the knowledge I had at the end and apply that to a reread. So that might happen too this year, maybe like a cozy Christmassy reread. Like I mentioned at the beginning of this video, we are almost through the month of July, so my little honorable mention standout is going to be Daggerbound. It's not out yet. I'll put a picture of the cover here, but I loved it. I absolutely adored that book. It is coming out in August. So pre-order it now, try and get your hands on it if you can. And it is just an absolutely wonderful addition to the world of the White Rat. It is a wonderful addition to the Saints of Steel series. And then we also get to see Learned Edmund again, who we first met in the Clock Tower duology. If you've not read any of these books, I think I say it at least once a month in a video. Please give it a try, especially if you like fantasy, And if you like fantasies with a little bit of romance, not too much, not overwhelming, just that little bit of something there. You will really fall in love with these books. The creatures, the characters, there's so much found family in all of them. Like, people are really building their own communities, and it's really rewarding to read. It's really fun. It's very joyful. And while there are hard topics and hard times in these books, they all are really uplifting and so hopeful and so full of joy and love. And they're my favorites. I think we'll wrap it up there. Let's see how we end up at the end of the year. Let's see how empty the book is then. I'm really hoping to have made some progress by the end of the year and be a little more diligent about keeping up with the physical reading tracker. I would love to know how the first half of 2026 is going for you. Are you meeting your reading goals? Are you doing better? Are you doing worse? Are you in a reading slump? I know a lot of people are in a bit of a reading slump right now. Life is very busy, and hobbies sometimes are that thing that fall to the wayside when life gets in the way. So let me know how you're doing. I would love to hear, and I will see you for the next one. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.